Welcome to our students, parents and caregivers of Year 5 and 6. This video will give you insight into the Maths Pathway teaching and learning model currently being established in Years 5 and 6 at Geelong Lutheran College. We had been planning to provide this information interactively via a face-to-face parent session, but it hasn't been possible to this point. It is, however, important that you access this information prior to reading your child's semester report for mathematics, and teachers will be able to share further information specific to your child during your interview. At the end of this presentation, you will have the opportunity to gain further information on any areas of interest by following the links in the PowerPoint that is a part of this CareMonkey message. The Year 5 and 6 teachers, Jane Hollett, Sally McAvoy, Christy Jackson and Jordan Riddle, along with myself, Vicky Schilling, and Primary School Numeracy Coordinator Louise Porra, have put this presentation together for you. We hope that it helps you to gain an understanding of this exciting model for teaching mathematics. The purpose of this video is to help our community gain an understanding of the Maths Pathway model and the philosophy behind it. Maths Pathway was developed by maths educators in 2015 and now supports the learning of around 57,000 students Australia-wide. Maths Pathway recognises that real changes are needed in the teaching of mathematics to ensure the success of all students. Maths Pathway is not a digital program, but it does use an online environment to allow teachers to support learning through quality data on student learning and evidence-based, high-impact teaching practices.
Within the maths classroom, the reality is that there is a wide spread of student capabilities in maths, and there are diverse learning needs. Statistically, when students reach Year 7, the range of student ability is up to 8 years of breadth within a class of students. Teachers target teaching at each student's point of need. We call this their zone of proximal development. Teachers need meaningful data on each student's gaps, competencies, and progress so they can plan for learning, and this can be challenging to manage. There is a lot of curriculum to be covered, which means there are time pressures in providing differentiation, rich mathematical tasks and projects, problem-solving activities, and reflections. In traditional maths teaching and learning, it has been accepted that there will be gaps in students' learning as we move from one topic to another. As a society, we accept that the curriculum will move on, even if a student has not demonstrated mastery of the topic. A test score of 75%, for example, has been considered reasonable, despite a student not understanding 25% of the topic. The Victorian Curriculum Standard does not expect students to reach mastery to be considered as working at the expected level. However, Maths Pathway recognizes that maths skills build year by year on a developmental continuum and values identifying and addressing gaps in student learning in order to move forward. This means that to successfully understand concepts, students must first build strong foundational skills that allow them to make connections in mathematics and learn at higher levels. The Maths Pathways program is designed with an individual approach that allows teachers to tailor students' mathematical learning. Students have 10-year levels of mathematical learning to access rather than just one. The material is continually adapted to suit the student's specific needs. Because the program is individualized, students can experience success in mathematics as they work on tasks set at their ability level. The Maths Pathway model contains 4 key aspects: mastery through personalized learning, having a growth mindset, soft skills, structure to learning that includes high-impact teaching and learning strategies, and data-informed feedback. Maths Pathway uses advanced diagnostics and ongoing formative assessments to provide data on each student's competencies and gaps in knowledge. Students have initial diagnostic assessments to set their personal baseline. The students are then able to access the content that they are ready for, building mathematical mastery along the continuum. Students will spend time in class individually working on specific maths modules that are just right for them. At the conclusion of each module, students indicate whether they have mastered this concept, and if so, they add it to their fortnightly test so they can demonstrate mastery of that concept. Within the structure of the program, students work on mastering the knowledge, skills, and processes of each module and don't move on until they reach 100% mastery.
Current research tells us that we can either have a fixed or a growth mindset. A fixed mindset in maths occurs when a student believes their maths capacity is set at a permanent level. For example, I'm hopeless at maths, even before I've started. A growth mindset recognises that anyone can achieve success as a result of the right effort, support and practice. It is really important that students are empowered with a growth mindset, as this is a major contributor to learning successes. Therefore, in Maths Pathways, we want all students to believe that they can learn and be successful in mathematics. This model helps students to develop their growth mindset and take ownership of their own learning. The model helps teachers target the content for each student to their own individual point of need. Therefore, all students are able to experience feelings of success in mathematics as they work at their level in each concept. As we foster a growth mindset in our students, we see our students embrace challenges, persist when they experience setbacks, understand that effort is required to reach mastery, accept feedback and learn from it, realise that mistakes are expected, respected and inspected. Mistakes should be celebrated and used as a learning tool. The philosophy and structure of Maths Pathways means that students are encouraged to develop a range of soft skills. They are responsible for their own learning because they are setting goals, making choices, and monitoring their own progress. They seek help in a variety of ways, such as their peers, teacher, and the program itself. They develop strong organisational routines and personal expectations about how to set out their written work. Students are required to set their own personal goals. They learn the importance of reading questions carefully so that they can comprehend them. Students learn to check their work as they progress through a module and review their learning as they prepare for a test. Students develop mathematical reasoning skills as they engage in rich tasks and provide explanations of how they solved problems and why their solutions work or are plausible. They question each other as they share their thinking. And most importantly, throughout the process, they become accountable for their own learning as their efforts and achievements are so visible. Maths Pathway is highly structured, making it predictable for students. We group learning into fortnightly cycles that includes learning, support sessions, activities, assessment, feedback, reflection, and goal setting. Typically, there are 8 maths sessions in each cycle. Within the cycle of learning, there is opportunity for individual work, where students work individually on modules and participate in individual tests. For one-on-one work with the teacher to reflect on learning, set goals, receive feedback, and participate in targeted teaching sessions. There's also opportunities for small group mini lessons. And as a whole class, there are activities to improve students' soft skills, positive learning behaviours, mathematical energizers and warm-ups, and rich tasks and investigations. Once students are familiar with the program, rich tasks and investigations can be incorporated to encourage the students to problem solve in different ways, identify there are multiple ways to reach an answer, and apply skills they have learnt in an authentic context. During remote learning, you would not have seen all the aspects of this model, partly because we were in an early phase of implementation at that time, and partly because the nature of remote learning limited what we were able to provide. We hope that you can see that Maths Pathways incorporates a range of strategies and approaches and is much more than just an online maths program.
Energizer and warm-up activities are short teacher-led maths activities that involve the whole class. These are engaging, fast-paced, and help students to revise skills such as place value, the operations, comprehending cryptic questions, and problem solving. Warm-ups and energizers get students ready for learning in maths or create a short break during focused module work. Students are guided through the learning in their modules online. They complete questions and record their learning in their workbook. Students are expected to maintain neat and sequenced work that demonstrates their thinking. They are expected to take pride in the presentation of their bookwork. They use red pen for their headings, numbers, ticks, and line down the middle of the page. The rest of the work is completed in blue or black pen or pencil. This is a workbook example from a Year 6 student, which exemplifies the expected level of neat and ordered setting out for different types of questions. When working on Maths Pathway modules, students are encouraged to become independent learners through the practice of seeking help in different ways. First, check the answer to the solution. From the answer, students can work backwards or problem solve their mistakes. Then, watch the instructional video included in the module to revise the process or strategy. After that, find a friend who has done the module and ask if they can help you. This is a powerful step, as students learn a lot by explaining a strategy or concept to someone else. If students are still unsure, ask a teacher for assistance. In mini lessons, students work in small groups with their teacher to unpack a concept from a module that focuses on a common point of need. Teachers are able to use the Maths Pathway data to easily identify students ready for the same concept and form relevant groups. Materials are used to make visual connections with written mathematics. Mini lessons may only take 15 minutes, but provides responsive targeted teaching relevant to all in the group. Rich tasks are conducted as a whole class. Students have a problem proposed and they use materials available such as counters, dice, money, matchsticks and grid paper, just to name a few, to solve it. This is an opportunity for students to see there are multiple strategies to solve a question. It involves collaboration and peer teaching as they form new understandings. Students develop reasoning skills as they share with each other their mathematical problem-solving skills. At the conclusion of each cycle, assessment will include both online and paper testing. This assesses the level of mastery the students have achieved in the concepts they have learned during the previous fortnight. Students indicate at the conclusion of a module whether they have understood and mastered the concept and are ready for it to be included on their test. This builds personal accountability as students reflect on their learning and determine whether they need more support or whether they have achieved mastery. The reflection is a chance for students to go over their test results and attempt to correct anything they got wrong. This means that they can have a second go online to work towards mastery. The reflection becomes available after a student has submitted their online test and after the teacher has marked the printed test questions. When it's available, students will get a Start Reflection button on their timeline.
At the conclusion of each cycle, each student has a conference about their progress in the previous cycle. Through targeted feedback, students are empowered to reflect and improve on their understanding of themselves and then set personal goals for improvement. Through this process, students learn that there is always room for improvement, no matter their skill level.
Investigations and projects involve students in real-life problem solving. It gives an opportunity for students to see the beauty and relevance of mathematics in daily life and use a range of skills they have developed. These are open extended problems or tasks, up to a week, that allow for differentiation. Students will start working on investigations and projects once the cycle of modules is well established. This is something to look forward to during the remainder of the year. An example of an investigation may be designing a bedroom makeover, involving aspects of measurement, area, length, perimeter, mapping, costings, and budgeting.
The student's homepage provides feedback on their previously completed Maths Pathway learning cycles. Where students have at least 100% in each of effort and accuracy, they are working well. It is not unusual to see much higher percentages when students apply themselves well to their modules or have plugged some significant learning gaps. Growth is measured slightly differently, so that when students are assigned 6 modules and master 3 modules in the cycle, they will show a growth rate of 100%. And when they master 6 modules in a cycle, they will show a growth rate of 200%. And you can see this example on this student's homepage. Effort reflects the number of modules a student actually completes in comparison to the number of modules that were assigned for them to complete in a fortnight. Typically, students are expected to complete 6 modules each fortnight. If 6 modules were assigned to complete and the student completes all 6, they'll receive 100% effort. Accuracy measures how many modules students master on the test compared to how many modules they complete over a fortnight. For example, if a student completes 6 modules and demonstrates mastery in all 6 of them, the accuracy score would be 100%. In order to get the most learning out of modules, students need to take their time to complete each one properly before moving on to the next. A low accuracy rate indicates a student either did not understand some aspects of the modules and needs to seek clarification or support, or perhaps they need to ensure they revise prior to a test. The student growth rate is the most important aspect of the feedback and the most significant measure of success in mathematics. It emphasises the value of continual development and building on pre-existing knowledge. A student's growth rate is calculated by the new learning they have mastered over time. An average growth rate of 100% is equivalent to 1 full year's worth of learning in mathematics in a calendar year. It is not uncommon to see much higher growth rates, especially as the program is being established and students are consolidating gaps in concepts taught in previous years. This timeline in the Math Pathway platform is a visual for students to see their progress through a fortnightly cycle. The modules are organised for each student in an individual learning map, such as this example. A specific key concept is grouped to form a gem. Each section of the gem represents a module. As students master content, other modules become available to them. The colours in the gem represent the modules that students have mastered. Completed is the next available, not yet ready, and unavailable. This is how students navigate their modules and can see what they've mastered, what they are ready to work on, and what is yet to come. This means that students are working at their zone of proximal development, and the content available to them builds on their prior knowledge. When students access their learning map, it will scroll to the section containing modules at their zone of proximal development. We strongly encourage students to work on modules that are in their first available, as these are considered most critical to their immediate progress.
In our upcoming parent-teacher interviews, our team of Year 5 and 6 teachers look forward to discussing your child's progress. During this meeting, we will look at your child's effort, growth and accuracy as we implemented the Maths Pathway model and share your child's progress map. If you have any further questions about the program, please do not hesitate to ask. We'd be happy to discuss this with you during our interviews, or alternatively, please contact your classroom teacher via email. For further information, please see the additional links in the PowerPoint accompanying this CareMonkey notice. These links will elaborate on the model and philosophy of Maths Pathway. Thank you for your time to watch this video. We hope that this has enlightened you further about this exciting model. We look forward to working with your child on the Maths Pathway program.